Right then, we are live. Welcome to the post match show. I am Vaibhav Tripathi, your host for this show, and joining me is Bharat Ramraj. And we told you that it is going to be a historic day before the start of the match. It is going to be an historic day, and indeed it is. But history has been written by Ireland, not by India. It was India's first game in Belfast, first T20I game in Belfast, and they have been beaten by 34 runs, a comprehensive victory by Ireland. And they have made history by beating India for the first time in international cricket. And what time to do so? First match for Lorcan Tucker since taking over as Ireland captain from Paul Stirling. They were out with their injury hit sides. As many as six first choice players were not available, and still they outclassed an Indian team. Obviously, Indian team was also not full strength. They also didn't have a Hardik Pandya, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj. Still, if you look at the experience, the Indian team was far more experienced than the Irish team. But the way Ireland fought in this game, the debutants, starting with Jay Mundra, Matthew Hogarth, I think both of them performed really well. Then Lorcan Tucker first with the bat. I think he was the first one, who led the fight back when Ireland were squared to 51 for 4. They were cornered to 51 for 4. From there, Lorcan Tucker scored a half century. Even when he got out at 115 at 115 for 5, India could have easily wrapped the innings up, but then came a brilliant blazing cameo from Garrett Delaney, who later on went on to pick up wicket as well, completing an all-round performance, a memorable all-round performance, and the lower order show from George Dockrell as well. That lower order fight back gave Ireland a push to 180 plus. Eventually, they posted 182, which proved to be enough. As apart from Abhishek Sharma, no Indian batter stood up against spirited bowling attack of Ireland. Again, Jay Mundra and Matthew Hogarth taking 5 wickets between them. Memorable day for both the debutants, and overall a great day for Lorcan Tucker and his team. Bharat, we'll start with you. Where do you think this game went away from India? Even though Lorcan Tucker scored a half century, still at 115 for 5, India were in a good position. Do you think it was missed in the bowling part? In the first innings, they dropped a couple of catches as well. That went against them. And if you look at Ireland's fielding, Ireland, I think, only dropped one catch. Apart from that, they were very tight in their field. So, do you think it was bowling where they lacked in the last 6 overs, or you think the batting could have done a lot better?
I'm not very sure the Indian batters could have done much better. Yes, they could have done better, but this is not a flat pitch. Let us put it that way. This was not a flat pitch at this old ground in Ireland. I think T20 cricket has been played at this ground for over 18 years. What I've seen is you get tennis ball bounce. So generally 180 to 190 is known to be a winning score. And that is what proved to be the case today. So I'm not very sure the Indian batters were that bad. Yes, they could have got 170 on those lines, but I think 180 was a little too much. And Ireland's bowlers know their conditions really well. They know the kind of lengths that you have to hit. You can't bowl full here. Yeah, with this kind of tennis ball bounce, you have to pull your length back. And that is where I think India missed out in their bowling department, yes, in their fielding department as well. As I've already been discussing on WhatsApp, see the kind of cutters that Prasidh Krishna bowled made absolutely no sense to me. He's not supposed to bowl those full cutters because that is not his strength. It is not his strength. Never been his strength. Even when he was playing for Karnataka somewhere in 2017, this cutter really it doesn't work for him because it seems like a almost like a tube light off cutter to me because it comes very slow. There's no disguise in his cutter, and in those conditions with tennis ball bounce, you need to pull your length back, hit the hard length. So he missed a trick there for whatever reason. Maybe it was a case of scrambled mind when he was getting hit that he tried cutters, and that 1 over from Washington Sundar also didn't help his cause in team's cause. I've talked enough about Washington Sundar. I'm not very sure that he's suited for T20 cricket. With great respect to him, see, Washington Sundar can easily be picked in the test side. He can also make it maybe to the one day side, but not very sure that he deserves a place in the T20 setup. But the Indian selectors or the Indian think tank have a lot of belief in him. Perhaps they've seen something in him. So somewhere that is where I think the Indian bowling went wrong. And obviously, as you noted, the fielding, India's fielding has not been good. Let us put it that way across formats, not just in one format. I would say kind of in across formats. India have been quite average, bang average. Maybe only the England cricket team would say we are worse than you in terms of fielding. So, but I think India's fielding has been rather below par over a period of time, and it wasn't really surprising that they again dropped a couple of catches. So I think India went wrong with their execution with the ball in hand, especially those cutters and that one over from Washington Sundar, and somewhere they lost their way in the field. Yes, the batters with tennis ball bounce around didn't exactly again execute their plans other than Abhishek Sharma. But I don't think this was a 182 for 9 pitch. This was more like a 160, 170 kind of a pitch.
Srishti, Bharat made a pertinent point about the pitch having a tennis ball bounce. It was not a flat wicket that a lot of
Hmm.
Indian batters have, have been used to playing, because in IPL hardly any pitch you will see. There is a lot of assistance for the bowlers, but right from the start of the game, if you look at the way, Arshdeep Singh and Harshit Rana, both of them bowled, both of them were brilliant. They found a bit of hint of swing. There was some seam movement as well from the wicket. So there was assistance, and then obviously the spongy bounce was also a factor, which Ireland bowlers made a lot use of. But do you think this is becoming a recurring theme where Indian batters are getting found out in tricky conditions where there is a spongy bounce, a tennis ball bounce, a bit of movement, and then you see Indian batting faltering?
See, for me, the thing is, the more you play in the flat tracks, the more I'm not. See, again, the thing is that in India, there are flat tracks made because people are enjoying the 250 plus scores, the 200 scores. Before the match, in fact, during the match also, I was having a conversation with Bharat, and I told him that I hate these 250 plus matches because there is nothing for the bowler, and the more you bat on that flat pitches you get used to those things, and again when you come out of those flat pitches you come out at another place to bat in, then you find that particular condition or that particular position tricky. In fact, in test matches, I will not mix the format, but again, if I have to give an example, in the test matches Indian team was struggling against spin at their own home, at their own place. So the thing is very simple, that Team India needs to play in tricky tracks. If they are playing any series against any team, no matter which team it is, you have to play a few series on tricky tracks if the series are in India. And you have to get used to these things because not every World Cup is hosted by India, not every World Cup is going to give you flat tracks. And all the dismissals, I was talking to Simran and Sudisha as well, all the dismissals, I was feeling like they were doing catch practice with the Ireland fielders, that okay, I'll hit there, you have the catch, and okay, bye, I'm gone. That's the thing that was happening. Tilak Varma, the way Tilak Varma got out again, he was struggling against spin. Again, Ishan Kishan, the top edge, Shreyas Iyer's dismissal. It was feeling like they were throwing away the wickets. And the thing is, you are so much used to play on the flat tracks that whenever you get some tricky conditions, I know 180 is a very good total. I'm not saying that, oh, it's so less or something like that, but it's Indian teams batting. It's not 280, it's 180. You could have chased that with the batting lineup having Ishan Kishan, Abhishek Sharma, Tilak Varma, Shreyas Iyer. You have batting till 7 8. 180
Yeah,
is a score
you have
which
a
you could
Harshit
have
Rana
chased.
coming. You have a Harshit Rana
Yeah,
coming at number 9, and in the team sheet, Akshar Patel came in at number 8 position. So it was not like the pitch was unplayable or there was a lot of help, but I think the shot selection could have been better.
yeah, because they also scored 180 on the same track, right? It was not a different pitch. It was the same pitch. It was the same track. If they were able to score that particular amount of score, why were you not able to score that particular amount of score? It's totally because they were so much into hitting. They thought that, okay, we'll come and we'll start hitting. And I believe it was not that pitch जहां आप आए और आप आते के साथ ही you start hitting. That was not the pitch. You have to stay, you have to be there, and then you can convert your innings. And that's the point I really feel. I'll come to bowlers later, but I think this was not a score which Team India with this batting lineup couldn't have chased, according to me.
Simran, now coming to you, the I think the only one of the few bright spots for the Indian team from this game was obviously the way Abhishek Sharma played a 20 ball half century again. Irrespective of wherever he plays, irrespective of the conditions, he was playing for the first time in Ireland. There was he's not the easiest of the batting conditions, but again, Abhishek Sharma proved his class, showed his class, and proved his worth once again. Obviously, we talked about presence of Vaibhav Suryavanshi being a factor, but the number one ranked T20I batter, he's making his presence marked everywhere, wherever he's going. How much it impressed you, given the way other Indian batters have played on this pitch?
I think his performance today was absolutely outstanding. He's been able to produce a half century, and he's really shown why he's considered to be an elite prodigy when it comes to power hitting at the top of the order. And I think while the rest of the batting lineup was completely collapsing around him, he stayed put and also proved that he is one of the best top order batters that India currently has. Along with this, I think his shot selection was on point today. He wasn't trying to manufacture shots that weren't there. He trusted his strengths and was batting consecutive boundaries at a point as well. So there was a real sense of clarity in his approach, and he knew exactly how he wanted to construct his innings.
Right, Bharat, coming to the culprits for the Indian team, first with the ball, obviously the 1 over. I'll not talk much about Washington Sundar because 1 over again is not a big sample size. Even Matthew Hempres, Liam McCarthy, the one who got the important wickets later on, were belted in their first overs. But the way they made they come back in the second spell was impressive. I think a share of credit should be given to Lorcan Tucker as well for backing his bowlers. But talking about Prasidh Krishna, the last time he played a T20I was against Australia in Guwahati. He then also leagued 60 plus runs. I think in that game, if I'm not wrong, Maxwell scored a century and he leagued 60 plus runs in that game. Even now, he leagued 50 plus runs. So in the last two T20Is he has bowled, he has leagued over 100 runs. What do you think is we know that Prasidh has been very inconsistent in white ball cricket, but last game that he played, last white ball game, he picked a fifer. Next white ball game he plays where the conditions were favorable for the fast bowlers, and then there the fast bowler like Prasidh Krishna, he gets belted for 50 odd runs.
Yes, sir. Uh, can I take over? Because suddenly I didn't hear your
Yeah,
voice.
yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is there in the mind. It is in the mind when it comes to him. See, shorter the format, I guess it is tougher for him. Maybe, can you hear my voice? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think shorter the format, the tougher it is for someone like him because I think under pressure, he sometimes doesn't execute, as I again noted. See, tried a lot of those, what can you say, tube light cutters today, which made absolutely no sense because in those conditions, why do you want to try a cutter, especially when you know that your cutter is not working? As I noted, even if you go back in time, I watched him for 11 years. Even if you go back in time to 2016, 2017, that particular cutter never really worked for him. Even in conditions where the ball was gripping, that full cutter doesn't work for him. But in climbs where there was a little bit of nip around, where there was a tennis ball bounce, where he needed to pull his length back, which was actually his strength to hit a hard length, he tried those cutters. So I think it is a case of him having that kind of scrambled mind under pressure. In the world of IPL, maybe there's a little less pressure on him in the sense that, see, you're still not playing for a country, so that is why he's won the purple cap once. This year also has taken 16 wickets in the world of IPL. But when you're playing for your country, there's a little more pressure. There is one more pressure on you, and that is where I think struggling in the shortest format of the game. So maybe the shortest format of the game is not for him, because I see some improvements when it comes to the two longer formats. But in the shortest format, you as a bowler, you're really tested, because you could be hit for three sixes in a row. So you need to be really good with the temperament, and I think that is where that is where he's grappling with. It is more about the mental side of things. See, Washington Sundar, I've already noted. With a bowler like him, with an off spinner, I'm not very sure I will go for someone like an Washington Sundar, because in modern day T20 cricket, I don't think an off spinner really would help you unless there are about 4 or 5 left-handers in the opposition ranks. So I don't see him as a utility cricketer in this format. But having said that, the Indian management continues to back him, so they must be seeing something in him that I am missing out on.
See, I think for Washington Sundar, if he's batting below 5, then there is no point in keeping him, because again, he's not a bowler now that where even Gujarat Titans didn't trust him more with the ball. He played more of as a batter, specialist batter. He didn't bowl. How many overs he bowled in the IPL? Just go and see. That's where you will understand the point that if Washington in Sundar is playing, is he justifying his place? That's a big question, and that's a debate for another day. But coming to Srishti, I think Srishti, Shreyas Iyer's short selection, Sanju Samson's short selection, even Ishan Kishan. At that time, okay, in the first 6 overs you got out, but when there was a chance, when things stabilized, when you spend a bit of time, I'm talking about Tilak Varma, his first innings as vice captain, now he's a part of the leadership group. There has always been a talk about Tilak Varma and his game against spin since the last couple of seasons, even when he plays for Mumbai Indians. That's why there's always a question mark when he plays at number 5 in the middle order, because you will face spin. And see, today there was not a quality spinner in Ireland team who has taken a lot of wickets. Matthew Humphreys, again, a left-hander. Still, if you look at the way Tilak played, he was struggling to even rotate the strike. Okay, big boundaries, you could have easily rotated the strike. He was struggling for strike rotation. He was struggling to find boundaries as well. And then he got out to a spinner, a left-arm spinner, while trying to play a reverse sweep. Again, trying to manufacture the shot, trying to jailbreak, just because he was unable to rotate the strike. He was unable to get on the other end. 19 runs of 21 ball for vice captain Tilak Varma, not the start he wanted, but again, easy again, making himself prone to criticism that he's still struggling against spin and he's not finding a way in white ball cricket.
See, the thing is, you criticize those players, those people whom you are rooting for. When the match started, I'm being very serious. I was rooting for both Shreyas and Tilak, because Shreyas now is the captain of Indian T20 side and Tilak Varma is the vice captain. And till the time Tilak was there on the pitch, I don't know why I had that sort of hope that Tilak is there, so maybe something can happen. He did manufacture a very great innings against Pakistan in the Asia Cup. Again, that was Pakistan, but still, like, it was a very much pressure situation. We were 20 for 3. Tilak Varma's struggle against spin, again, as you said very rightly, very correctly, that we have seen it earlier also. And in fact, in slow pitches also, I have seen him struggling many a times, because in the slow pitches, he thinks he wants to hit some shots and he's unable to do so, and he gets out. And I don't know what's up in his mind. Whenever he's batting, he always thinks that I am here, I'll hit a 6 or 4. And in T20 game, in any game, T20s, ODIs, test, in any game, it is very important for you to rotate the strike irrespective of the conditions you are at. And I have, in many live shows, Bharat has also pointed the same thing, that you need to rotate the strikes. You can't just stand there and hit 6s or 4s or boundaries whatsoever. So this is the thing. And I thought, when Tilak Varma did win the India A Tri Series in Sri Lanka, I thought maybe now he has been a bit better. He is now a bit better with the spin, because Sri Lanka tracks were not easy at all, according to me. That's my personal opinion. For me, I don't think that those tracks were easy, and he did score runs. So I thought that he must have been having a good confidence. So maybe now he's slow, but he'll accelerate, which he has done in IPL also, the Mumbai Indians and Gujarat Titans games, where he scored a century. So I was rooting for him, and the moment Humphreys came out and he just switched his position for the reverse sweep, I was damn sure that he's out. He's gone, he's done. Because that's not his shot, according to me. That's not a shot he plays much. That's not a shot he is very, very good at. कभी लग गया, that is a different thing. कभी लग जाता है, हर बार नहीं हो सकती है वो चीज. So that is very much important for him to learn from these mistakes. He's a vice captain now, and I don't think people will like what I'm going to say right now, that vice captaincy in India is कोई भी कभी भी can become the vice captain. Anybody. The player who is not in the team, he can come in the team and they can become the vice captain. So if you have to cement your place as a vice captain, team mein to you will be there. Always you will be there. There is no team in T20 without Tilak Varma. But if you have to cement your place as vice captain, you have to score runs. It's as simple as that, according to me.
See, I
I'll just add
don't
a
think
point.
even.
If it is
Yeah,
fine,
yeah.
I'll just add a point on Tilak Varma. See, you need to, first of all, you need to have the skills. With great respect to Tilak Varma, I think there are flaws in his game. So that is why he's struggling was a spin, because he's not able to hit good line deliveries to the onside. I think there's an issue with his most likely stance. And sometimes what he does is he taps his bat, and after that his head falls over to the right, falls over to the other side, left side a little bit, and from there he loses the shape on his shots. So I think there's a flaw in his game. That is why he's struggling in spin. So see, sometimes even if you're a professional cricketer, you might have played hundreds of internationals, whatever it is. You might have played hundreds of IPL games. You still have to keep working on your game. So somewhere I think he has to go back to drawing boards and work on his flaws against spin, and that is when I think he would be able to rotate the strike, hit a lot more sixes. With something similar with someone like Rishabh Pant, people keep telling that, see, Rishabh Pant, why is he not scoring too many runs in T20 cricket? Because there's a problem with your grip. So even you might be the best cricketer, you might be a wonderful cricketer, but still there could be an issue or two with your game, and you have to go back to drawing board. So I think the problem with Tilak Varma is, I'm not very sure it's the mental side of things. It is more related to his the method that he's using, which is not working against spin bowling.
Definitely, and it is not just one series, one season. If you look at the last couple of years, then you will see Tilak's strike rate on the wrong side. There is a dip in the strike rate again. Average as well. His numbers have been not good against spin, and that is where the problem lies. That is where I think even the team management at the fag end of the World Cup also made him a lot of used him more as a finisher against the pace bowlers in the last 5 overs rather than exposing him to the middle overs where spinners operates a lot. But coming to Simran, how impressed were you with the performance of Harshit Rana? Comeback game 3 for 24, also smacking a 6 as well. Team management backs him a lot with the bat as well. They see him as a bowling all-rounder. Harshit Rana, given the new ball, bowled full throttled, didn't look in any sort of discomfort and no lack of bowling rhythm. He was playing his first game since picking an hip injury, and he picked up an injury, I think 3-4 months back. Even before the World Cup, he picked up the injury. So back in January, since then he didn't play. But there was no lack in rhythm or pace or anything else. I think Simran is struggling with her internet, so I think she should be back. Bharat, you can take this question. How did you assess Harshit's performance? Back into the team and straight back into the groove among the wickets, and that's what team management expects from him. He's a wicket taker. I remember in one of the T20s against England, home T20s, he was called as a concussion substitute for Shivam Dube and then picked 3 wickets and won the game for India.
You see, Harshit Rana did what was expected of him. That was to bowl a hard length, that was to bowl the heavy ball, hit the deck hard, got a little bit of nip, got some tennis ball bounce, and use the cutter by pulling the length back. It was more of a slow short one rather than that off cutter. So he just executed his plans, and that is why he succeeded. So that's what you have to do in those conditions. Something like Jai Mundra also, I guess, showed it, especially in the slog overs when he was pulling his length back and trying to use that, take advantage of the tennis ball bounce. So he kept it simple and got the rewards. That's what we expect from a tall, hit the deck fast bowler. And credit to him, because see, you have missed out on action for some months, returning from a rather serious injury. So there could be some seeds of doubts in a fast bowler's mind that if an injury would again recur when I'm bowling. So in that sense, the kind of confidence that he showed would, I think, would gladden the hearts of the Indian think tank, because it's not just about your bowling skills; it's also about the mental side of things. And it can't be easy for any fast bowler to return from an injury and immediately execute their plans, which is what he basically did.
Absolutely. Simran, now since you are back, your thoughts on Harshit Rana's performance and also Arshdeep Singh. Arshdeep Singh, we were talking about him in the pre-match as well in the IPL. He bowled a lot of freebies, he bowled a lot of extras. His line was out of shot, completely looked out of shot in the IPL. But coming back, he's the leader of the pace attack. He's the leader of the bowling attack with most having taken most wickets for India in this format. And first over he was taken to cleaners, but the way he came back in the same spell, getting important wickets, and more importantly, using the conditions really well. How impressed were you with the first burst from both Harshit Rana and Arshdeep Singh?
I think firstly, Harshit Rana, today's performance was one of the most standout ones. He posted figures of 3 wickets for just 24 runs in his 4 overs. And his bowling was extremely disciplined today, and he wasn't just exploiting the conditions, but rather consistently hitting the right lengths, and allowing the batters to play at almost every delivery, but at the same time, not really allowing Ireland to build any momentum against him. And he also took great control of the game. Even after picking up wickets, he didn't get carried away, rather, he stuck to his plans. And that's why he maintained such an impressive economy rate of just 6 runs per over, which is exceptional for the T20 format. Coming to Arshdeep Singh, I think he's proved it again why he's India's leader of the pace attack. And his figures today of 22 runs have been a reflection of how impactful he was at different stages of the innings. I think he has been able to give India what they wanted with the new ball by asking questions of the Irish batters and then coming back later to finish his spell just as effectively.
But coming to Ireland, let's discuss a bit about them, the victorious team, and let's start with the debutants. The way Jay Mundra bowled, he first got Sanju Samson's wicket and then Shivam Dube's wicket. That caught and bowled was fantastic. Also, Matthew Hollard. Even Jay Mundra could have picked the 3 for, if not for that dropped catch at long on. But Matthew Hollard, 3 wickets for him. Jay Mundra, a couple of wickets for him. Both having good economy rate as well, completing their full quota of overs. First impressions on both the debutants?
Yeah, I think they just bowled according to their limitations, according to the dimensions of the ground. That is where I just go back to the same point. If you look at the kind of dimensions around, then as a pace bowler, you have to just pull your length back. And that is what basically Mundra did, especially in the slog overs. When I was watching, he was definitely pulling his length back. And the spinners too. If you look at someone like even Matthew Hollard, even if you look at the medium pacer Matthew Hollard, others, they just kept it simple, and that is how they were able to get all those wickets. It's just basically they stuck to their limitations, they stuck to their plans, executed them, and Ireland went on to win this game. So full credit to them. They didn't try to experiment too much. They knew that with those kind of dimensions, that if you tend to bowl too full, you will be smashed down the ground, and they just executed their plans really well. So full credit to them. And as you noted, five or six of the main cricketers were injured, were not playing in this game. Even someone like Paul Sterling obviously is not playing, although he stepped down. Isaba could have obviously would have got into the side. So yeah, without 5 6 players to come out and play this well, and that too for a side that has been struggling in T20 eyes. Remember, Ireland is not doing well in this particular format over a period of time. It's not like a few other associate nations coming to the ranks or doing quite well despite being a full member. Ireland have been going through a turbulent phase in this particular format. So for them to come out and beat the world champions, T20 world champions, is something that should boost the cricket on a long-term basis.
Simran, one last question to you. Heading into the second T20 with Ireland having won this game, they would be flying. Like they will have a lot of confidence heading into the next game because next game also will be played at the same venue. Don't think the wicket will change drastically in a day's time because there is a quick turnaround between the two T20Is. So how do you think how much of a confidence this will give to Ireland and they will believe that they have a chance to register an outright win against world champions India? Series win.
I think this win will give Ireland a massive confidence boost. And it's not just because they're one up in the series, but it's because of how they've won. Because India wasn't chasing a small total or relying on one individual performance. They clearly outplayed India in key phases of the game. And I think that's the biggest takeaway because they were competing with one of the strongest T20 sides in the world. And also, from a psychological point of view, this changes the dynamic completely. Because before this game today, they were the overwhelming favorites. And now Ireland will walk into the second T20 believing that they have a genuine chance of winning the series against India.
Absolutely, and they will be, ready to clinch that opportunity. They will be coming hard against India, having won this game. Arshishti, one last question to you before I go to Bharat and close the show. What do you think about that important cameo from Garrett Delaney? The way he batted, I think he almost made it to the Indian bowlers to bowl at his strength, and then later on he picked a wicket as well. That eventually sealed the deal for Ireland.
It's for
Yes,
me.
I
Is it for
think
me? Okay, sorry.
it was
Please.
for me, I guess. Yeah. Huh.
Uh,
So for me, the score would have been stopped around 160, 165, something like that. But I think that cameo took the score from 160 to 180s, 183 the target was. I think it was due to that cameo only. And that's the most important thing, that if you have a finisher or someone down the order like him who can take up the score and multiply it like with, he can add 20, 30 runs extra at the end when they are losing wickets. I think that's the most important thing, and I really feel that whenever any team is struggling, for example, if any team is 160 for 6 and you have 2 overs or 3 overs, something like that, at that time it is very much important for the lower middle order or the finishers to come up, to step in and to take the score from 160 to 180, or if possible to 190. So that's the thing he did, and I think that was the reason somehow the target reached at that particular point of time, and we lost the game. Indian team lost the game, because if it was around 160, Team India wouldn't have given up. It's my point of view. If it was around 160, 165, Team India would not have given up. When they saw, yeah, that the target is huge and they can't reach it anyway, at anyway they were losing wickets. That's the reason they got all out. And now Ireland is 1-0 ahead of Team India.
Definitely. Last question to Bharat. Bharat, Lorcan Tucker's first game as full-time captain. How impressive he was, because whether it's Matthew Humphreys or Liam McCarthy, both of these bowlers, if you look at the first over, both of these bowlers bowled, they went for a lot of runs. But still, he backed both of these bowlers, and both of these bowlers got important wickets. So that sort of tells you something about Lorcan Tucker, the captain as well. He's very courageous. He backs his players, and he's a very good leader. I believe the rotation of his bowlers, field placement, everything was spot on. I think everything
yeah,
went well.
it's someone who's pretty much a Can you hear me?
I think there is a problem with Bharat's internet there. Yes, I think we have lost him. Anyways, because I raised the point of Lorcan Tucker, I think he was very impressive with his bowling changes, especially the way he backed the bowlers who were very expensive in their first spell, whether it's Matthew Humphreys, the left arm spinner, or Liam McCarthy. I think and Liam McCarthy eventually got the wicket of you know Abhishek Sharma as well. So that I think
Abhishek Sharma.
he was very he was very good. Yeah, Bharat, you are back.
Yeah,
So do you? So
my internet is a bit choppy today. Anyway,
no,
coming back
your
that.
internet is playing hide and seek like the clouds were playing hide and seek in Belfast right from the morning.
Anyway, as far as Tucker is concerned, see, I have always found him a very gritty cricketer. See, even right through his debut, right from the time watched him, he's looked like a very gritty cricketer. Maybe Harry Tector is more talented than him, but someone like Tucker is a very gutsy cricketer. I think it's the right kind of appointment as far as naming him as the captain, because he comes across as someone who looks like can take over the leadership role. And that's what he basically did today. His bowling changes were good. He showed confidence in their bowlers. But again, it finally comes down to the kind of execution that your bowlers do. Many times, the captain is as good as the team that you have. If your team is executing well, then the captain looks really good. If the team is not executing well, then suddenly the captain also doesn't look good. Something similar has happened to our captain Harshit Rana in the first phase of the 2026 IPL. But if you notice, the second phase of the 2026 IPL and now this loss, suddenly Shai Sahib might come across as a bad captain. So, but still credit to Tucker for rotating the ball as well, showing the confidence. Hopefully, this will boost not just Tucker as a captain, but also Ireland cricket going forward because the results have not been good in the recent past across formats.
Definitely, Tucker has started his career captaincy stint with a bang. Whereas if you look at Shreyas Iyer, a tough start to his captaincy career as far as the India captaincy is concerned. But again, we know how good a leader he is. If you look at his profile, you know he has won championships for in the IPL for Mumbai as well in domestic cricket. So he's a good leader. Again, the people who are saying just because Vaibhav Suryavanshi didn't play, that's why India lost, or that's why they deserve to lose. I think
No, no.
you should develop some game sense before coming here and doing these kind of comments, because I think even Vaibhav Suryavanshi would have struggled in these conditions. I'm not saying that he definitely would have struggled, but just because there was spongy bounce and lot of players who have played
Hmm.
who have been playing international cricket at the top level for so many years, for a long time, they struggle. So who knows? So not it wouldn't have been easy for even for a Vaibhav Suryavanshi. But again, it tough start to Shreyas Iyer and his captaincy. But Indian team would be hoping that they fight back in the second T20 and level this series, because that's the best result that they can get out of this series now. But first T20 belongs to Ireland, and that's all from us for now. Thanks to Steve, Simran, and also Bharat who joined us, and we'll be back for the second T20. Before as well, we will continue to build on from Belfast. Rohit Juglan is there, so he will continue to build on for the second T20. Will India make any changes? Will there be a debut for Vaibhav Suryavanshi and Prince Yadav both in the second T20? There are plenty of questions, and we will look to answer them even before the start of the second T20. So make sure you hit the notification bell and like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to Rev Sports. Thank you.
Thank you.